Hi, this is Josh Shrier. I want to welcome you to another episode of the Business Masters Daily, where we tackle all the topics in business from strategy to mindset to happiness to anything in between. So, in this episode, I want to discuss what I call time management 2.0. Now, time management, what I call 1.0, which is the old school of time management, taught this mentality. Make an 8 hour, 10 hour, however long your day is, and then make it that every minute is as equationed as possible, as fit as possible, makes it as much sense as possible. Now that might have worked technically in a different era, but in our era today, with the fast speed of things and the intensity of our work, that doesn't necessarily work anymore. So I learned this strategy not only from who I learned from Brendan Burchard, who's one of my top coaches I learned from online, but you'll see in Silicon Valley, especially, this strategy is used very, very much. In this episode, I'm calling this block time. Now, block time is the strategy that you start at the beginning of your day. This is something that's very important that a lot of people don't do. Start at the beginning of your day. Even if it's not the very first second of your day, if you have kids to get off to school, other things you have, other obligations you have, first thing in the day. But make sure you sit down before you start any tasks and plan out your day. And the best way to do it is in hour blocks. And so you set up, say, 5 hour blocks, 6 hour blocks, depends on how long you want to work that day. And during that block, say, I'm going to get this done. Now, ultimately, the most important thing in this block time is to have the most important things in your day done in the first 5 hours of the day before lunchtime, 4 to 5 hours of your day. When you do that, you're going to see that you're 10, 20 times more productive because it eliminates the desire for procrastination in many cases. And you push off things like checking email and having meetings until after 1 o'clock. That's a very important strategy, especially if you own your own business. If you're an employee, you're more at the whims of your boss and your department. But if you own your own business, this is a very important strategy that I employ with anything I do. And why do we do this? For a couple reasons. One, studies of efficiency in workplaces have shown that the most effective time period is about between 60 and 70 minutes at a shot. So what I do and what Brendan advises to do is to take a stopwatch, not stopwatch, an alarm, and set an alarm every hour on your phone. And when it goes off, no matter what you're doing, unless you're literally in the middle of something so in the middle you can't stop, you get up, you walk around for 2 minutes. This is not a whole break. You go to the coffee room, you just walk around for 2 minutes, drink some water, clear your head, and sit down for the next hour. Now, the most important part of this thing is this block time is you have to turn all distractions off. If you're doing something very mentally intensive, like writing a book or recording a course or making a presentation, you have to turn all distractions off. No internet, no news, no radio, no any of this stuff. And you sit down, and the hour is a 60-minute hour, not a 5 minute hour broken up 20 times. And you'll see after trying this for even a week, you'll see you're immediately more productive than you ever were before. Because most people can push themselves against the wall for 2, 3, 4 hours. By the time you hit 1, 2 o'clock after lunchtime, you're gonna start to fade. By the time you get to 4 o'clock, then you're nothing near what you were at 9 o'clock for most people. This alleviates that problem. This fixes that problem. Ultimately, also, what you'll see is you're happier, you're better with your employees, you're better with your contractors because you're more balanced. You're not just like a chicken with his head cut off running around all day trying to just put out fires and get things done. So that's the basis of block time. I try to keep these episodes short and bite-sized so that my podcast, which is more long form, you can access on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Shrier Consulting, Shrier Consulting. And over there is all my videos, and you can take a look. This is Josh Shrier. Have a great day, and bye for now.